Oh. Oh no. I am just an idiot. Ah, yeah, there we go. Okay. Yes, because of course when I had the Phoenix dock to Odyssey, I disabled fuel flow from Phoenix because I didn't want Odyssey's main engines burning fuel from our lander. So we have not actually burnt through all of our fuel. We have plenty of fuel left to get us back up into orbit. Okay, okay, we're good. We're all good. It's all Gucci. All right, let's collect all of our data that we got on the way down. And there we go. Oh, okay, I had a mini panic attack there. I was like, I swear I had in my fuel budget, I had more than enough fuel for a powered landing. Yeah, as well as taking off. I was like, how did we use more than half our fuel on the descent when all we really did was destroy our... I say destroy. We removed our lateral velocity and left then most of the vertical velocity to the parachutes. But yeah, it's fine. It's fine. We're fine. Okay. Crew report. You ask yourself what it looked like when we lived on this planet. It was a lot bluer, that's for sure. You guess it wasn't hot like this when Kerbal still lived here. The atmosphere is incredibly heavy and thick. The barometer glass starts to crack. I think the atmosphere is mostly carbon dioxide now, isn't it? Yeah. So essentially, what's happened to Kerbin is similar to what happened to Mars. So the solar wind has basically removed the atmosphere, and now it's predominantly carbon dioxide. I think there is still trace amounts of oxygen in this atmosphere, but not really enough to run a jet engine. Or maybe there is. Maybe we should have actually had a jet-powered lander. That would have been interesting. Seismic scan. Indicators are shaking irregularly. Gravity scan. Data expunged. Alright, okay. Atmosphere analysis. Oh yeah, we need to keep this open to the atmosphere analysis, don't we? A flake of dirt floats into the intake, causing the device to cough. It deems the atmosphere mostly carbon dioxide with a pinch of inhospitality. Yeah, there you go. Carbon dioxide. Analyze atmospheric condition. Getting thinner by the minute. Archangel is boiling the air away. Right. Let's collect all that data. There we go. And let's extend the ladders. Of course, it's 1 G of gravity here, so we can't rely on the EVA packs to get us back to the top of the lander. We need to have ladders all the way down. I deem it fit that Katrina Kerman should be the first person to set foot on our fallen homeworld. So let's get Katrina Kerman out. Here we go. EVA report. As you wander the barren waste, you feel the unrelenting urge to monologue about the unchanging nature of war. And hello, you're heating up quite a bit, aren't you? If you heat up too much, we won't touch the surface. You grab some soft dust mixed with metal, shrapnel, and black powder. Something must have happened here. I think we're going to get a lot of references to a Fall of Kerbin in this. Oh, hello. You are heating up quite a lot. Yeah. The surface of Wasteland is very inhospitable. Are you going to keep heating up? Let's put those samples in there. Let's get Obsy out, actually, to reset some of those science experiments. So, do not fall off, Obsy. Yeah, let's think about this for a second. Okay, we're going to try and get Obsy out to reset some of those science experiments. If Obsy can actually get off the ladder without falling to the ground. Okay, is the ground too hot to stand on? Well, Obsy just found out the hard way. No. If the ground had been too hot to stand on, then yeah, we would have found out the hard way there, wouldn't we? Oh, yikes. I don't want to imagine what would have happened to poor Obsy here. Okay, looks like Obsy's the one planting the first flag. Here we go. Just wanted him to reset the science experiments, but I put the ladder in a slightly awkward place. Here we go. Oh, Phoenix. Sweltering Midlands. Right. Ooh. A moment of silence for our fallen homeworld. Well, there we go. The surface is indeed perfectly safe. Let's grab another surface sample. The soil here is red and boiling, but contains everything needed for life. Very interesting. Let's grab another EVA report. I want to look at all the reports. Ruins of a metropolis are still standing on the horizon. You can actually feel the loneliness. Yeah, we are planning to head over and have a look at the KSC. But of course we don't have enough fuel, even though, you know, we do have far more fuel than I originally thought we do. Yeah. We're not going to be launching the rocket over there. We're going to have to walk over there. I really wish I'd brought a rover, but then again, that would have been a much bigger lander. And yeah, Obsy is starting to warm up, to be fair. The longer he stays outside. I don't know if we can actually make it over to the Kerbal Space Centre. Maybe if we keep a wide berth, keep well away from the lava, we should be alright. Because we're heating up this far away from it. But I mean, it is hot enough to melt rock, so it's certainly hot enough to melt a Kerbal. And you can see why I was so terrified that the lander almost plunged into one of those lava lakes. That would have been absolutely disastrous. Yeah, the whole lander would have melted, sunk beneath the surface. So yeah, thank God I did include a little bit of wiggle room. Hence, you know, the size of this lander. I thought with Kerbal Engineer I did include plenty of wiggle room. No, Obsy. Okay. I hope we can get back in here, because otherwise we're going to have some trouble. The ladder seems to have been put in a very awkward place. Maybe I should have put it a little bit lower. Yeah, and you can climb over the edge of the salamander. It's always difficult to get onto these salamander command pods. Don't know what it is about them. Yeah, it obviously is starting to heat up. I wonder if there's actually a limit to how long we can spend on the surface here. There we go, there we go. Okay, you can get on top. We are going to have to reset the science experiments, but first let's oh yeah, cancel. Can we store these experiments somewhere else? Oh, we stored some of the experiments in there, didn't we? So if we swap back to this, and then we open that, and collect all, and there we go. Cool, and then Obsy can transfer his experiments into here. And we have multiple copies. Boom, shakalaka. Goo looks incredibly calm here, despite the extreme temperature. Let's have a look at the material study. The organic samples laugh at you. Fair enough, okay. Let's collect all of those in there, apart from the experiments that we now have stored in here. So now what I'm going to do is grab repeats of all those experiments. So I'm going to collect experiments from here, the experiment storage unit, put them in here, and then repeat all those experiments. And then we should have multiple copies of at least all of the surface level stuff to take up back to Odyssey. I am also going to extend these radiators because things are going to get a little bit toasty in the full daytime. It's currently afternoon. I think the days are still the same length as they used to be. I think the days are 1 day long here on the wasteland, so its rotational period hasn't changed much. We'll also extend those solar panels as well. Oh, hello, and we got some world first. Aha! So you've successfully landed the first Kerbal on the wasteland. Glorious. And here we go. Walked on the surface of the wasteland and planted a flag. Money, 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 money. How much money have we got? Yeah, quite a bit. Almost 2 million funds. And we should get quite a bit more when we return all of this scientific data back to Solitude. Right, I've decided I'm going to show you repeating all these experiments. We've got so many funny reports, I want to go through all of them. The goose sees a skeleton and then closes the container by itself. We got that one before. That's fine. Let's have a look at the gravity scan now. Why is all the data expunging? Atmosphere is no longer breathable here. Really? Don't be ridiculous. Right, so we've done that one. Where? It's such a mess in here. I packed all the scientific instruments in here along with a bunch of life support. Here we go. Oh, we've already logged all that. Of course. Collect all. There we are. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. I think what we want to do is reset that. Yeah, Science Junior again. So let's get Obsy back out. He's certainly pulling his weight today, isn't he? Okay, if we let go up here and then nope, there seems to be a safe way off this rocket, is there? Okay, climb back up, Obsy. There we go. Up you go. Back up the ladder. Try not to smash any of the solar panels or anything when you fall off this time. I'm quite happy with how this lander looks, actually. Look at it. I mean, the Demise lander, the first one anyway, was horrifyingly ugly. But this one, I'm pretty happy with it. Here we go. Restore the Science Junior. There we go. And then we can actually do the experiment from out here. Observe materials bay. The materials are crushed under the heat and pressure, forming new elements. R&D will be researching this for a while. We'll collect that data. And we will restore you. And I believe we store that one in there. Oh no, we store it in here. There we go. Wonderful. And nope. There. Aha. I don't know what we would do without the 1.0 climb feature. If we were in an older version of KSP, we would be really stuffed right now. But there we go. That's operational again. Oh, wrong one. There we go. I'm glad we can just about get to those material bays and those mystery goo units. Otherwise there'd be a limit to how much science we can do here. But as it stands, I believe we have copies of everything, which is pretty cool. Apart from, of course, as I said, the atmospheric stuff. But we'll get the material study and mystery goo observations from the low atmosphere when we take off. And I don't know, maybe we'll get a few repeats of the high atmosphere stuff as well. But yeah, that's just the nature of landing and taking off. We can't get repeats of everything, but we should still get plenty of science. So now we transition to present me as we watch yet another beautiful blue sunset on Wasteland, caused of course by the carbon dioxide atmosphere. They are of course the first Kerbals to witness a sunset on Kerbin in millions of years. Truly a rather dramatic moment. And as the sun begins to rise once again, we get Katrina out and we begin the very long and very arduous trek all the way over to the Kerbal Space Centre, all those kilometres away. Now what I did here is literally just press Shift and W, then tabbed out, and then watched Brooklyn Nine-Nine on my second screen. Seriously, 2 screens. Once you have 2, you can never go back to having 1. You never really truly appreciate quite what a difference it makes. But yeah, wow. Talking about a difference, the Kerbal Space Centre is completely ruined. As we see, we just walk amongst the buildings, familiarising ourselves from all of those old glory days, pieces of artwork that we brought with us out to Solitude. Really, the real thing just doesn't compare to those beautiful images of it in its heyday. So we plant a flag and we have a brief moment of silence and of course pose for the thumbnail. So what I want to know is, do these buildings actually have their own biome? That would be interesting. Hello! Landed at the Wastelands SPH main building. Awesome. Can we get an EVA report from this? Surface sample? You grabbed some soft dust mixed with metal shrapnel and black powder. Something must have happened here. Yeah, holy crap! We can actually get science reports from the buildings. That is okay. It's kind of awkward that we don't have enough space to store reports from all of them. Yeah, let's overwrite our current report. A lonely cottage stands a few hundred meters away from you. You shudder. Those who were left behind, a sacrifice that had to be made so that a few could survive. Okay, well I think what we're doing is we're still getting surface samples. I think these reports still will just count as wasteland landed in the lower Midlands. But it is saying that they're from the specific building themselves, though. But that's pretty cool. That it actually changes the information for where we actually are. So I find that pretty damn cool. There's nothing here though. There's nothing here. Nothing for us to retrieve. No secret projects. Nothing. Just a few lonely buildings standing. Important part of our history, yes, but nothing we can really use. Now, it's certainly not a wasted trip. You know, this is certainly something that we needed to do. But yeah, the R&D department, it's gone. Look, the whole area it was on, an earthquake or something's completely destroyed it. And yeah, all that's left are a few hulks of buildings. Still though, it's really quite sad, but very inspiring. As I said in my flag plaque, Kerbin's sacrifice will not be in vain. We will not let Kerbalkind go extinct. We will continue pushing on to the stars. I believe that's actually Valentine in the sky up there. See that sort of flickering star up there? You can see it in the daytime, well, I guess in the early morning, because it is actually quite close to Kerbol, or Archangel as it's now called. Yeah, that's actually where we're hoping to go. But yeah, I think we've seen enough. I think it is time for Katrina Kerman to head back to the spacecraft. I don't think we have a huge amount more life support, so we'll spend maybe another day or so on the surface, but yeah, I think we've had enough. I don't know if this counts as a separate surface sample. We'll have to get back to the spacecraft and find out, I guess. But yeah, that's enough. We found the old Kerbal Space Centre. There's nothing here. So, late into the second night on the wasteland, Katrina finally makes it back to the Phoenix, probably absolutely knackered, and after Freshers Week I can certainly relate to that feeling. So, we then pull up all the ladders, perform all our pre-flight checks. You can see we pinned a bunch of panels there on the right hand side because we're going to need to be collecting science data on our ascent. So we need to grab a bunch of reports while we're in the low atmosphere, and then a couple still while we're in the high atmosphere. Now what you're going to notice here is we are taking a very steep ascent trajectory. And that's mainly because since the atmosphere is predominantly carbon dioxide, it's quite thick and soupy near the surface, but then it rapidly thins out. So we're ascending very quickly, and since we're entirely out of RCS, we can't really afford to turn in the lower atmospheres. You see there, we started to lose control, but we managed to pull it back. And now we're in the upper atmosphere, we're having a little less of a problem. Now, I didn't realize that those aerospikes, yeah, they don't actually have any gimbal, so we're doing this entirely with reaction wheels. Thankfully, we did actually include a few small reaction wheels in that service bay, so we are quite alright, but it would have been much easier with some RCS. Unfortunately, we spent all of that on our descent. So what we do is we line up our maneuver, and with the last fumes of our engines, promptly don't quite make it into orbit. I had a bit of a panic attack here. I was like, oh god, we don't have enough fuel, run. So I literally opened the service bay, okay, without any time to spare, grab the science reports, otherwise the whole trip to the the whole excursion to the surface was worth nothing, and then get into orbit using the EVA packs on the Kerbols. Now, there are a few problems with doing this, namely that now we can't take the lander out to Malice. That's what we were planning to do, refuel it and take it out to Malice, land on that, and complete a few contracts, get a bunch of science, but we're out of fuel. I did think we used too much fuel on our descent, and although we did have enough fuel to almost get into orbit, yeah, it's basically because we were going to end in that lava lake. We spent far too much fuel on our descent, and I had a pretty tight Delta V budget, so unfortunately we couldn't quite make it up into orbit, but it's quite alright. Although we can't go off to Malice, we can always come back here at a later date. I think I might build some kind of space station to study our old homeworld maybe. But as we see, Phoenix kind of living up to its name here as it burns up, entering the atmosphere, and promptly succumbs to the fate that we tried to avoid earlier on when we first landed on the wasteland, as it plunges into the lava and is promptly obliterated. So now back on Odyssey, we have a bit of a job ahead of us. We have 2 Kerbols to rescue, and they only have a limited amount of life support. They have, I believe, just over about a day or 2 of life support, but yeah, they're going to need to go to the bathroom pretty soon, so we're going to try and do this as quickly as possible. But this is a very unwieldy spacecraft, not really designed for doing fine manoeuvring, and one big problem we run into is we're starting to run low on RCS. Now, Odyssey has got tons, and I mean tons, of extra Delta V in those main engines, but when it comes to monopropellant for actually rotating the spacecraft, we're starting to run a little bit low. And that's pretty vital. We don't have monopropellant, we cannot orient the spacecraft. So what I end up doing, as you see, is just little puffs and then time warping to try and limit our use of monopropellant. Make sure we have enough to get us back home. You know, worst comes to worst, we can always use some reaction wheels, but that would take forever. And yeah, that would be an absolute pain in the arse. And those nuclear engines, I don't believe, produce any gimbal. Well, I might be wrong about that, I don't know. But still, yeah, let's not run out of monopropellant. This is a big, heavy spacecraft, and it would be very difficult to actually get us back home to Solitude. I say back home, we are kind of orbiting our home right now, but our current home. A home isn't necessarily where you're from, which, as I said, I kind of know. I'm at uni now. This is the first video I've made since actually arriving at uni. You probably noticed that the audio quality is different, same mic, just a different room, and I will talk more about uni and how Freshers Week and everything went when I make my next video. Probably Hard to Find 4. Yeah, that's what I'll do, because Hard to Find 4 is a little bit more relaxed than these Kerbal videos. They tend to be a little bit more condensed, but as you see, we finally pick up Katrina, and then
Hala! Hala, that's not an expression, but either way, we're back in the command module, and then all we have to do is go pick up Obzi with his copies of all the science reports. Thank God I took 2 Kerbols down to the surface, because one of them could carry 1 set of reports, and as you see here, Obzi's carrying a bunch of duplicates that we can put into our science lab, so he just stores them in there, and then gets himself inside. Ooh, okay, what an excursion! So they descended to the surface, almost landed in lava. Katrina went on I think it's like 15-kilometer hike and back, lasting well over a day to the KSC, which was probably emotionally charged, and then they had to jump out their spacecraft mid-flight. So yeah, pretty interesting. But after all of that tremendous experience, we can then level up our crew, and now we have level 4 scientists and level 4 pilots. So we'll be researching all of that data that we got from the surface much faster, and we're producing a wonderful bounty of science before we head on back home to Solitude in a future episode. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. I've been the Beardy Penguin, and I will see you all next time.